Hey everybody, welcome, Falcon, Forest of Doom. Forest of Doom is a game that's kind of really akin to a throwback to the old school tabletop type of games, you know. The Forest of Doom was actually a game book by Ian Livingstone that incorporated a lot of the tabletop type of elements where you kind of gather around with your friends, you kind of roll the dice out there, or should I say the D6 if I want to be more literal with the whole thing, and kind of just have an adventure, you know, where you kind of go through different pages, find out what your fate is depending on the roll of that die and the items that you have, when you choose to use them, etc., etc. Mind you, I've never done that because you would require friends to be able to play with, you know, tabletop games, so it's kind of really impossible for me, but this game gives me the idea that I do have friends I can actually play by myself and not feel too sad and depressed when I hug myself to sleep every single night, but that's besides the point. I kid, obviously, but you know what? Oh, jibba jab aside, let's actually check this game out here really quickly here. So let's go into the Forest of Doom. We'll play. Absolutely, we will. Crow perched on that sign there. Alrighty, so to give you a little bit of a introduction, more so, the Forest of Doom is a fighting fantasy game book, an interactive adventure in which you are the hero. You can only win through by choosing the correct path, finding equipment, avoiding traps, and surviving combat. So that's basically the really big emphasis of the Forest of Doom here. Before embarking on your adventure, you must determine your own strengths and weaknesses with a series of dice rolls. You have in your possession a sword, some other armor, and a backpack containing provisions, food and drink for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordsplay and exercising vigorously to build up your stamina. You must choose from one of 3 difficulty settings. So we're going to be going with adventure, which is kind of like the way the game is intended to be played. It's kind of like really close, it's as close as possible to the actual original title itself. There is hardcore mode, which kind of makes everything a lot more difficult. Not sure exactly how you would achieve that. Maybe higher dice rolls and things of that nature, more penalties. And then there is the easy mode, which kind of, if you want to experience the story without really getting into too much hijinks, you know? So you have chosen the adventure difficulty mode. Before continuing, you must calculate your initial stamina. Your stamina score reflects your general constitution, your will to survive, your determination, and overall fitness. The higher your stamina score, the longer you will be able to survive. You must roll 2 dice and add 12 to the number rolled. This is then entered into the stamina box in your adventure sheet. Stamina will go up and down during your journey, but if your stamina falls to 0, you die, and your adventure is over. If your stamina is getting low, remember to eat some of your provisions. Alrighty, so we're going to roll for our stamina number 1. Let's go ahead and do this. 6 plus 12, 18. Alrighty, well, I guess that'll do. Not really too crazy about that, but you know it is what it is. We're going to roll for our skill now. Your skill reflects your swordsmanship and general fighting expertise. The higher the better. Your starting skill is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6 to the number. This is then entered into the skill box on your adventure sheet. So, let's see what I roll here. When I played this in my own time, I rolled a 1, and I got wrecked on the first fight. It was ridiculous. Alrighty, 2. Nice. Well, I guess I can't really complain because instead of 1, it's just 2 this time around. So, hey. One of these days, man, I'll just be a proficient fighter. Alright, next you determine your luck. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Obviously, by checking out the last roll, not very lucky game. Lucky, or I should say luck and magic, are facts of life in the fantasy kingdom you are about to explore. Your starting luck is determined by rolling 1 die and adding a 6 to the number. This is then entered into the luck box on your adventure sheet. Alright, let's roll our luck here. A 5. Alrighty, well, I feel like this is the game just kind of mocking me at this point. Oh, you're not lucky, here's a 5. It's like, oh, alrighty, cool. Well, foot in my mouth, right? So, in addition to your other starting equipment, you may take 1 bottle of a magical potion which will aid you on your quest. You may choose to take a bottle of any of the following. So we could take the skill one, the strength one, and the fortune one. Fortune will restore our luck points and add 1 to initial luck. Potion of strength will restore our stamina points, and then we have the restore the skill points thing. I kind of want to go with restore skill just because it's so fucking terrible. But, keeping our stamina up is kind of really important as well. These potions may be taken at any time during your adventure except when engaged in battle. Taking a measure of potion will restore skill, stamina, or luck scores to their initial level, and the potion of fortune will add 1 point. Each potion contains enough for one measure, so remember to use wisely. Alright, let's go with the strength one, I guess, just for the stamina purpose. Yeah, okay. Once you have selected a potion, then you may begin. So, may the luck of the gods be with you on your adventure ahead. So, We have our character here. Let's actually get into some reading. So again, it's going to be really, obviously, text-based as you could imagine. So bear with me. Grab yourself a hot cup of coffee. A hot cup of coffee? Whatever I just said. Grab yourself a hot cup of coffee. Grab yourself a hot cocoa. Whatever it is you want to indulge in, just sit back, relax, and let's listen to what's going on in the Forest of Doom. Let's see here. Getting the old vocal cords warmed up. You are an adventurer, a sword for hire, and have been roaming the northern borderlands of your kingdom. Having always spurned the dullness of village life, you now wander to the lands in search of wealth and danger. Despite the long walks and rough outdoor life, you are content with your unknown destiny. The world holds no fears for you as you are a skillful warrior, well practiced in the art of slaying evil men and beasts with your trusty sword. Not once during the last 10 days since entering the northern borderlands have you set eyes upon another person. This does not worry you at all, as you are happy with your own company and enjoy the slow, sunny days. Hunting, eating, and sleeping. It is evening, and having feasted on a dinner of rabbit, spit roasted on an open fire, you settle down and sleep beneath your sheepskin blanket. There's a full moon and the light of the sparkles on the blade of your broadsword scurried into the ground by your side. You gaze at it, wondering when you will next have to wipe the blood of some vile creature from its sharp edge. These are the strange lands, inhabited by weird and loathsome beasts, goblins, trolls, and even dragons. As the flame by your campfire gently dies, you begin to drift asleep, and images of screaming, green-faced trolls flicker through your mind. Suddenly, in the bushes to your left, you hear the loud crack of a twig breaking under a clumsy foot. You leap up and you grab your sword from the ground. You stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on your unseen adversary. Then you hear a groan, followed by a dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? Slowly, you walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from, and carefully pull back the branches. You look down to see a little old man with a great, bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. You crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice 2 crossbow bolts protruding from the stomach of his plump, chainmail-clad torso. Picking him up, you carry him over to the fire and steer the dying embers into life. After covering him with the sheepskin blanket, you manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up, rigid eyes, staring fixedly ahead and starts to shout. I'll get him! I'll get him! Don't you fear! Gillibrand Bigleg is coming to bring you to the hammer! Oh yes, indeed I am! Oh yes! The dwarf, whose name you presume to be Bigleg, is obviously delirious from the poison tip bolts lodged in his stomach. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name in his ear. His eyes staring unblinkingly at you, and he starts to shout, Ambush! Look out! Ambush! Ah, the hammer! Take the hammer to Gillibrand! Save the dwarves! His eyes, half closed in pain, seem to ease a little. As the delirium subsides, he speaks to you again in a low whisper. Help us, friend! Take the hammer to Gillibrand! Only the hammer will unite our people against the trolls! We were on our way to Darkwood in search of the hammer. Ambushed by little people, others killed. The map in my pouch will take you to the home of Yastromo, the master mage of these parts. He has great magics for sale to protect you against the creatures of Darkwood. Take my gold. I beg you to find the hammer and take it to Gillibrand. My lord of Stonebridge, you will be well rewarded. Bigleg opens his mouth to start another sentence, but nothing comes out except his last dying breath. You sit down and ponder Bigleg's word. Who is Gillibrand? Who is Yastromo? That is all the fuss about the dwarvish hammer. You reach over to this body of Bigleg and remove the pouch from the leather belt around his waist. Inside you find 30 pieces of gold and a map. Jingling the coins in your hand, you think of the possible rewards which may await you just for returning the hammer to a village of dwarves. You decide to try to find a hammer in Darkwood Forest. It's been a few weeks since your last good battle, and what is more, you are likely to be well paid for this one. With your mind made up, you settle down to sleep, having taken back the sheepskin blanket from poor Bigleg. In the morning, you bury to the old dwarf and gather up your possessions. You examine the map, look up to the sun, and find your bearings. Whistling merrily, you head off to the south of a good place, eager to meet this man, Jastromo, and see what he has to offer. Now, turn over. Your walk to Jastromo takes a little half over a day, and you arrive at his stone tower dirty and hungry. As the tower is set back to the edges of Darkwood, some 50 meters from the path you have been following, it is difficult to find. Finally, you walk up to the huge oak door, somewhat relieved to find that it does exist and that Bigleg had not been speaking wildly in his delirium. A large brass bell and gong hang from the stone archway. As you ring the bell, a shiver runs down your spine, and you realize that the loud bong invades the deep silence which you had not noticed before. There are no sounds of birds or animals to be heard. You wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps ascending the stairs from the tower above. A small wooden slot in the door opens, and 2 eyes appear and examine you. "Well, who are you?" demands a grumpy voice through the hole. You answer that you are an adventurer in search of the Master Mage Nostromo, intending to purchase magical items from him to combat the creatures of Darkwood Forest. "Oh? Well, in that case, if you have interested in buying some of my merchandise, you had better come up. I am Nostromo." He then turns and slowly climbs the stone stairs. Will you follow him up the stairs, turn to 261, draw your sword and attack him, turn to 54. So this is our first real decision point here of the game. We're gonna obviously just follow him upstairs. I don't necessarily want to fight him. I prefer to kind of buy stuff that I need from him. You follow the huffing and puffing old man in his tattered robes up the spiral staircase to a large room at the top of the tower. Shelves, cupboards, and cabinets line the walls, all filled with bottles, jars, weapons, armor, and all manners of strange artifacts. Nostromo shuffles past the general clutter and slumps down in an old oak chair. He reaches up into his top pocket and he pulls out a fragile pair of gold-rimmed spectacles. Placing this on his nose, he picks up a piece of slate and chalks from a table next to his chair and begins to write frantically. He then hands you the slate. Alright, and here is going to be where where you could buy stuff. You remember, we have 30 pieces of gold. I've usually tried to spend most of it. I'm not entirely sure. I've never run into an issue where I needed gold later on, but, it could be a possibility, so it's up to you. Remember, this game's going to take a lot of different runs, and there's going to be a lot of different arching paths that you can take in the game. So, again, it's all up to you and the roll of the die. So, normally, I'm going to go with Potion of Healing for 1. This is going to be a potion that will fix physical injury and increase stamina by 4. Absolutely. So, I'm going to buy that. I'm also going to go with the Ring of Light, which is the wearer of this ring can see into the darkest depths, which sounds really, really important, so I will take that. Boots of Leaping also sound kind of important. Brown leather boots that magically help you jump higher. Let's go ahead and get this as well. We have the Rope of Climbing, a magical rope that would help you with climbing. Makes sense, right? I'm going to grab this because it sounds kind of important too. In case you want to check your adventure cheat, you go down at the edge of the map here, or the screen, and it will let you know. So adventure cheat, if we look at this here, we have 18 stamina, 8 skill, 11 luck. Here's our map. We have 5 provisions, the Potion of Strength, the Potion of Healing. These are the items that we do have. And in terms of gold, we have 19 left. Alrighty, so good to know. 19 of gold, right? So over here we have the Net of Entanglement, which I wanted to check out. Game, let me go back here. A magical net that will help you snare unwary prey. Let me get this as well. We have the Armband of Strength, which is what? This armband increases the strength of the user's arm when worn. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually get that as well. How much are we looking at now? 13 gold, alrighty. Gloves of Missile Dexterity, a purple silk glove that helps the wearer throw accurately. Could be kind of useful, maybe. Let me go ahead and grab that. Rod of Water Finding, which is a wooden rod which locates water in apparent dry places. That could be kind of important. Let's take that as well. And what are we looking at now? 9, huh? Alrighty. Let me grab the Garlic Buds. Actually, Heaven of Concentration. What is this one? Enables the wearer to focus solely on a single object despite any distractions. Sure, let me get this. Let me get the Fire Capsules. And Potion of Instant Control, Anti-Poison, Potion of Stillness, and we have how much? I think 3, right? So we can make one more purchase here. A potion that calms a drinker during stressful situations. That could be kind of important, so let me grab this one. Alrighty, so we basically spent all of our money. It's all good. I mean, we might need some of these items for something, so who knows? Alrighty, so let me go back into voice mode here, and we will see what's going about. He tells you that all the instructions for use are written clearly on the labels attached to the items, together with their suggested use. He sighs and tells you the unfortunate that magic in the items only works once, but they are the best you can buy for the money. Nostromo then asks you for the reason for the purchase of your items, and you tell him your story and your decision to continue the quest of the luckless Big Leg. Ah, yes, Nostromo says slowly, rubbing his chin. I heard the good dwarves of Stonebridge had lost their fabled warhammer. Without it, their king is unable to arouse his people, despite the fact that the hill trolls threatened his village. Rumors has it that an envious king of another village of dwarfs sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do, but as it flew over Darkwood, it was attacked by dead hawks, and the hammer dropped into the forest and was lost. Apparently, 2 forest goblins found the hammer, but could not decide who was to keep it. They wrestled for hours but gave up. Then they discovered that the handle unscrewed from the head, and the argument was settled. One kept the head, another kept the handle, but they parted each happy with his new treasure. Who knows if they still have them, so I'm afraid your problem are doubled. I can tell you that the head is made of bronze and the handle is both made of polished ebony. Both head and handle have the letter G inscribed on them, and your task is not easy. Good luck. You thank Nostromo and leave the room with the spiral staircase. Outside in the bright light, you notice the dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northwards from the dark, tall grass surrounding Nostromo's tower into the dense undergrowth of Darkwood Forest. In a few strides, you are surrounded by the dark and tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows, and you can almost believe that they are trying to trip you up. The light fades quickly, and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper you go into the gloom. Eventually, the port forks on either side of the huge old tree. To go west, turn to 289. To go east, turn to 160. We're going to be going east. The narrow path continues to cut its way through the tangled forest. Strange animal cries and noises echo through the trees. At least the path widens to approximately a meter across. Soon you arrive at a moss-covered wooden signpost on top which sits a large crow. The arms of the signpost read north and east. Just as you are deciding which way to continue, you hear the words, "Good afternoon." You look up in the direction of the voice and see the crow looking down at you inquisitively. "Good afternoon," you reply slowly. Feeling a little foolish, the crow speaks again, asking which way you are headed. You reply that you are looking for 2 goblins, small, sinewy creatures with brown, scaly skin. "1 gold piece will buy my advice," states the crow confidently. Will you pay the crow for its advice, ignore the crow and turn north, ignore the crow and carry on eastwards? Well, we have no gold, so we have to ignore. So are we going to ignore and go east, or are we going to ignore and go north? Let me look at my map here really quickly, which is we're at right here. So we can either go east or north. I'm going to say we're going to keep just going north, right into the heart of the woods, right? So walking along the path, you hear footsteps and arguing voices behind you. If you wish to meet their owners, turn to 317. If you would rather hide in the bushes to let them walk by, turn to 392. So we're actually going to hide for this one. As you crouch in the bushes of the path, the voices get louder. 2 pairs of spindly legs and tattered cloth shuffle past you quickly, kicking up dirt and dust. The voices soon fade away into the distance. You step out on top of the path again and press northwards. Turn to 157. To the left of the path, you notice a large hole in the ground, with a diameter of some 3 meters. Walking over the edge of the hole, you see it sloping off into the depths of the earth. If you wish to walk down the hole, turn to 125. If you prefer to continue walking northwards up the path, turn to 337. Alright, we need to be a little bit adventurous. Let's check out what this hole leads into. As you descend into the hole, you notice large amounts of slime secreted by some huge creature. If you wish to climb back out of the hole and continue walking northwards up the path, turn to 337. If you wish to carry on down to the hole, turn to 15. We're going to continue going forward. Oh my lord, what is this? The slope is steep and you slip onto the slime, tumbling head over heels down the hole to the bottom into a large earthen cavern. You jump to your feet and you are alarmed to see the shiny tip of a poison barb on the tail of an end of a huge stingworm coming straight at you. The stingworm is about 5 meters long and has a huge yellow segments, but all you care about is protecting yourself from the barb. There is no time to scramble out of the hole. You must draw to fight your sword. If you win, turn to 217. If you are defeated, game over. So we're going to fight this. Alright, and here comes our first battle, and probably our only battle of this video, unfortunately. So we're going to roll here. Now, we both miss. Now, what this one is, we're going to be rolling our skill, and then we're going to add the dice roll itself, right? So we have an initial skill of 8, and then we rolled an 8, so our overall skill is going to be 16. This stingworm has a skill of 8, and then his roll was also 8, so we broke even on that one. If you do take a hit, I will show you what happens then. So let's roll again. He beat me this time. So right now I took damage. I took 2 damage, right? I could actually try to avoid that by using some of our lucks, which we have 11 luck, so we have 11 chances to try to negate the damage, if not lower the damage here. So we're going to test our luck right now, and we're going to roll a 7, and then you take less damage. So you are lucky. It is just 1 scratch, take 1 less damage. So instead of the initial 17 or 16, we're up to 17 now. We rolled again. Unfortunately, we did lose again. So again, I could take another roll of my luck here or just fight on. Let me try test luck out again. We rolled an 8 this time around, and we took 1 less damage because of it. There we go. And this guy is just kicking our ass, dude. Holy shit. Test my luck out again. We got a 9. You take less damage. Alrighty. So this one should be ours, finally. He has only 7 stamina, which is the upside here, so he shouldn't be around too long. So let me continue fighting on. Once again, losing the fights here. And this time around, I'm not going to use any luck. Let's just continue going forward. That one should be mine. Just barely. Continue fighting forward, and that one's mine as well. Now we have one more row to actually finish this off, and that should be it right there. Alright, so we are triumphant. Excellent. So if you win a turn of 217, which we will do, you walk around the lifeless bulk of the worm to examine the contents of its lair. There are several skeletons, perhaps those belonging to the other unfortunate adventurers. By the side of one of them, you would find a leather backpack. Inside the backpack, you find 4 gold pieces and a small, corked bottle containing a colorless liquid. If you wish to drink the contents of the bottle, turn it 262. If you would rather leave the dark cavern and scramble back up the pad again, taking just the gold with you, turn it 337. So we gotta be a little bit adventurous, right? So let's go with 262, obviously. You look at the bottle in your hand and then quickly gulp down its contents. You wait several seconds for reactions, but nothing happens. However, when you come to pick up your sword, which you had put down in order to examine the backpack, a surge of confidence runs through your body. The liquid is a potion of weapon skill, which adds 1 point to future dice rolls when computing your own attack strength during combat. Its effects will last for your next 2 combat encounters. Taking the gold, you scramble up to the earthen cavern to the path above and continue the journey to northwards. Turn it 337. At last, the trees begin to thin out, and shafts of sunlight beam down through the gaps on either side of the pad. As the pad widens, you see a large cave entrance with a few yards back on the right. If you want to examine the cave, turn it 230. If you want to continue northwards up the pad, turn it 358. And with this one, we're going to call it an episode here. This is actually just a look at of the Forest of Doom, so, I don't want to spoil it too much for you because it's a game you kind of should experience for yourself. However, if you guys would like a little bit of a longer Let's Play of it, a series of it, of any chance, let me know, and we'll probably take a little gander at it. Otherwise, I just wanted to bring the Forest of Doom to your attention in case, you hadn't heard of it. Just recently released. I have the information in the bottom if you want to check it out for your own volition. And again, it's a really fun game, especially if you do enjoy story, immersing yourself in the story, using your imagination a little bit, and things of that nature. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I encourage you to leave a thumbs up, leave a like. The support does mean a lot. Other than that, I will catch you next time.